Hello, everybody. Welcome to Menorca Consciousness Group. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got a beautiful guest, Jennifer Rose. Amazing. So we'll invite Jennifer on straight away, if that's okay, and we'll just go straight into the chat. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Colin. Hi, Colin. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody. First thing, thank you so much for joining us and coming on to discuss this. I'm looking forward to this. Embodying the soul consciousness. Or
yes. It sounds so fancy, doesn't it?
Well, it does, doesn't it? And it's like then it's all about embodying it. So just a quick introduction for those what don't know you on this side of the pond or wherever they are in the world. You are a transformational guide. I mean, obviously I know other things. So let's put them, I'm going to reel them off. So transformational guide, channel for light and spirit, cosmic beings, etc. If that's okay, healer, etc. Or do you want to tell us the rest?
Oh, no, that's all fine. But I noticed I've got my underneath my name. Maybe Ava could fix it for me, so it does because it's got from my last life. Maybe Ava can go in and fix it because I couldn't do it on my own. You go ahead. I don't need a.
Sorry. It's because it sticks, doesn't it? It's like Menorca Consciousness Group.
This is your show, so I don't want it to.
No, let's put the correct thing up.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So yeah, I do. I'm a psychic medium and media personality healer, transformational guide, writer, poet. I run a Sunday service. We do lots of fun things, and you're one of my favorite people, Colin. So.
Oh, you see, you're so kind. Ditto. What do you say?
Thank you. Thank you.
It's the same. So, and then you've got Sacred Spiral, Kelly Brickle. So I'm just going to fire you off a couple of names because you guys are doing amazing. So there's Kelly Brickle with Sacred Spiral, which is amazing. And all the different branches, what she's got connected to that. Nancy Moratella.
Yes.
And then you've got Michael Christopher doing his, Michael Zinn doing his, etc. I love it. Absolutely. So please say hello to everybody.
I saw Heidi, Sky Rain. I saw Spiritual Housewife. How cool is that?
Yeah.
So how's my girl from Colorado, Heidi, doing? Good to see you.
Who's from Boulder? Heidi. Hi. Hello, Heidi.
Thanks. She's always so supportive.
Yeah, well, I spot it because when I come onto yours and watch, like last night, I'm supposed to be doing other things. And then all of a sudden on my live feed, Jennifer, Nancy and Lynn with the ribbons just popped up and that was it. Forget it. Everything what I was doing just stopped.
We reeled you in.
I'm just going to sit here and watch.
Well, we're always happy to see you, because you bring such lovely energy and you're so fun too. So it was great that you came. So thank you for giving us the time.
I love it, Jennifer. Honestly, seriously, I love it. So, do you want to tell us what you've got? Anything special coming up before we go into the chat?
Well, gosh, right after here, I'm hopping over to the in-person event with Kelly, Nancy, and Lynn, and so I'm going to be hopping in my car, going to that, then driving home, finishing up Sunday service, which is tomorrow. So yes, virtually we have my Sunday service tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. UK time. And it's our final one of the year, and it's a holiday one. And so I've got all of my what I call Team Angel. So those are my gals who come every service to help me out with the service and provide the spiritual healing and so forth. And so for this service, we're all going to be doing the mediumship, the poetry, the inspiration, the healing. Hi, Nancy. We love you too.
I love you too, Nancy.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. And Fran is going to be back too. So we've got Kelly, Stacia, Nancy, myself, and Fran is on the return. So she's still at the facility, but she's doing so much better. So she's going to join us on her computer from there to give us one of her amazing poems as well too. So we're very excited. So it's kind of like, dun, 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 Fran is back. And
so, it's funny because obviously I've been watching watching and listening to Fran's progress over the last couple of months. So so nice that she's going to be joining you tomorrow. I'm so pleased.
Yeah. Yeah, she's so fun. I see her, almost every day, and go and visit her, and we have a lot of laughs together too, and we watch all the changes and people coming in and out and everything too, and so she's doing much better. She's starting to look forward to going home now.
Yeah,
Whereas
but she,
before she was a little uncertain, because she wants to make sure she has enough physical strength to be
yes,
able to move around in her home.
yeah.
And now she's like, okay, I'm starting to get close to being ready. So when she feels strong enough, then she should
Well,
be sprung out of there too.
well, she's been bombarded with healing energies. I know that
I
for how long.
know, I know. And her daughter did message me, and she said, like, I don't think it would have been this fast of a recovery for her had it not been for all of the love and the visits and the cards and
Yeah,
the messages over on Facebook, and people mailed her cards over there too. And she's like, there's no words to describe the
this is.
love that she feels. Yeah.
Hey, do you know what, Jennifer? It's like you've just described for me how we're supposed to be in a community. We just take
Embodying
it,
soul consciousness.
embodying it.
Exactly.
Correct. Let's go for it then.
Exactly.
Bless her. So,
Exactly.
Fran, if you're watching this, Fran, lots of love to you, and thank you for joining us. And hope you're on your feet as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So, and tomorrow night then, right?
Yeah. So
Have you got
that's
any Christmas?
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on one sec. Yeah. I wanted to tell people, because the service is free or donation. You do have to sign up on my website. But if you do decide to make a donation, it's going to be doubled. And I'm sending it to, I picked 4 different children's charities. Usually I do 1 or 2 maybe, but I couldn't decide. So I picked 4. So I'm just going to divvy it up 25% each. And so if someone donates $5 or £5, it gets doubled. And then I'll send them in after the service too. So it's just an opportunity to continue. So it's all of it, like 100% of everything, and then doubled will be sent this. So because it's our last,
That's so
you know,
kind.
yeah.
That's so kind of you. And so,
So
and this is 6 o'clock. What? I know it's 6 o'clock UK. Is that correct?
6 o'clock UK time.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you for letting me share. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Are you kidding me? Something like that.
Yeah. And
Oh,
yeah, we have a holiday. My next Embracing Infinity is going to be a holiday one. So I got a bunch of friends coming on, and we're going to you should come, Colin, if you're free.
you know me. I'm going to be somewhere in the space. I don't know, in the ethereal space, but ready to just step forward. I think. I know when you invited me on a few weeks ago, it was like, I can't in this very moment. I couldn't, and I thought, I really wanted to. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll go with it. But thank you so much, Jennifer. Any Christmas special? Have you got a Christmas special or anything coming up? Or is that
Tomorrow, the Sunday service, and then the Embracing Infinity live is my Christmas special. And then we'll have our last messages from the Enchanted Realms, and Fran will be back on that one too, because she hasn't been on in about 4 or 5 months too. That's next Saturday, a week from today. And that's where we, connect with all the realms, so spirit world, but also like the nature spirits, the fairies, the angels. So all of the realms come into play. Most people really love that one. They really love that show.
Funny enough, just quickly, talking about because Raven, one of your guests you had on recently,
yes,
he put a post up the other day about the elves in Iceland.
Oh, how cool. You talked about that once. I remember you said they protect the fairies. They protect the fairies there. Yeah.
It's a big thing in Iceland in that area. They call them the Afnafjora elves, they're called. So any building where what's taking place, if there's too many obstacles or delays, they will stop the building project and move it elsewhere, because the elves are saying, you're not building here.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the locals still go with that law. It's like, no, we're not disturbing the elves. So it's very strong, and they've got, I don't know, they do all sorts with the elves over there. Anyway, just thought it was interesting about the elves. And I've been there. And I've been to the place where they like a shop, the elf shop and everything. I went there when I lived in Iceland. So,
oh my gosh, I've got to put that on my bucket list.
Yeah, Iceland's amazing. Anyway, right then.
Yeah.
So, Sky Rain, I've just seen. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. For those who have joined us, please say hello if you can in the chat. Jump on if you've got any questions or thoughts. We're going to be talking about embodying the soul consciousness. Do you do classes, Sky Rain? Yes, I do. We've got a new classes starting after Christmas, Sky. If you want, send us an email, get in touch with Menorca Consciousness Group, and we'll send you some details about it. We could do, Fran, we could do with some elves here. They are building on every green space. Yes, Fran. Kath, yes. Yeah, I do classes. It's true, Kath. Kath's got a beautiful man, I know, Kath, spiritual housewife, Jennifer. So, embodying soul consciousness. What a title you picked, Jennifer.
I know. It's like, can we get this done in the next 45 minutes?
No chance.
Probably
Guys,
not.
Just to let you know, we've only got literally 45 minutes, maybe less.
Yeah.
So we're going to try and cover this.
Maybe we could do a part 2 if needed. We'll see how we can.
Well, it's funny because we can maybe start it off with this, Jennifer, because the other night what did I do? I think I did a talk on consciousness. The different aspects of consciousness, and we touched on awareness. So it was funny when you brought the title and created the title, Embodying the Soul Consciousness. I think it's really important for all of us on this path at the moment, because clearly we're getting closer to the vibrations of the soul. And that's why there's the way I look at it, the huge cleansing and clearing and purging and purifying, shadow work, etc., what's going on, letting go process for everybody, all of us on our individual unique path. And then obviously collectively there's a big purge and clearing. And for me, there's no question, it's because we've been too far away from our soul. And this event is saying this light of the cosmos, what's around us at the minute, is literally the frequencies of it are directing us inwards to get to the essence or the pure frequency or pure resonance of our soul. So I love this title when you put it, because it is about embodying it. We can't just intellectually speak it and go blah 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 blah. We know now we're at the point of walking the talk.
Exactly.
That's what it is, isn't it?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And in a way, that old saying of you have to bear your soul, well, it's like nobody's got any choice at this minute, either. Because something is unraveling it and he's going, that's got to go, and he's like, oh, it's going to leave me vulnerable. He's like, no, it's okay, you're going to be in nice safe spaces. So the consciousness is really, that I absolutely love this subject, consciousness. Where do you think we are with it all then, Jennifer? Where do you start?
We are where we are. So wherever everybody is where they're going to be, is what they're going to be seeing and perceiving out there too. So, but if we bring it all together in this one container, then we're sharing of energies and we're opening up. Don't ask me where I'm getting this from, but we're opening it up to beyond the individual one, to where we can become more acquainted, or we can further our progress by being in a space like this. But what I heard this morning is, how much we trust spirit is how much we trust ourselves, or how much we trust our soul is how much we trust ourselves. So they're very intertwined and interlinked too. And I'll probably say the same thing that you're saying, but just in different words, which is okay. And if we think of the spirit, like I've heard it described this way, and it made a lot of sense for my mind. If we think of the spirit as the outward projection of us, of the soul, that's going on this grand adventure. So it's like the sunlight and it's like the air, right? That's where all this movement is, but if we think of the soul, it's like the earth, the fertile soil, the water that's even seeping deep down into the roots. And there's another light down in the earth, and that's that gold that we're seeking. you know, which is the connection of self to big self, little self to big self, right? But we get so tied up in the outward, we forget the inward too. And that's okay. It's all part of the journey. So now we're just like, how can we make this better, right? So if we can get in touch with the soul, which is deeply emotional, deeply symbolic, mythical, full of archetypal,
Yeah.
and it's feeding the spirit desires for experiences and archetypal personas and energies and things that it wants to play out. And you could look into the cosmos and see the same thing. Oh, like the astrology is matching what I'm experiencing or what the collective is experiencing, right? And outward is in and in is out. So that's why I say as below, as as above, below, as within, as without, right? But you can also take that projection inward instead into the fertile soil, go down within and find yourself back up at the top again. So the light and the light are on each side. They're both, right? And so how do we do that? Because we tend to be very fearful of what's going on inside our own mind. And we like to look out this way, but we forget to sometimes look inside of what's inside, and we get very scared. And the mind needs sometimes some help. The personality needs some help to understand that it's changing and that that's okay. Because we fear, when we get to feel vulnerable or have a belief challenged or have a part of ourself that's starting to disintegrate because it was built on belief or perhaps the soul no longer desires to be quite having that experience anymore. It's fulfilled. It's feeling fulfilled, right? The personality then gets very, feels like it's dying, right? It gets this kind of fear of annihilation. But you and I know, and most of us know here too, right, that we're constantly transforming and changing. So it's an illusion in a way, right? Last night, I just kind of said goodbye to today's self, and I'll see who I am tomorrow. So I almost did a little mental ritual of saying, I'm dying to today's self, and I'll be reborn tomorrow as Jennifer plus a day or plus a few hours, you know, and that's helping to train my personality and my mind to be okay with continuous change.
Yeah.
That's a good place to pause.
This is really, there's so many aspects of what you've just said in there for me, Jennifer. One specifically is this transformation, the change. We know change is constant. We know that. It was the aspect of when we go inwards, when we go within, and we think we're going deeper, but we're going higher simultaneously.
Exactly.
I liken it to, as we go in, we expand, and as we expand, we're going deeper in.
Exactly.
So, because I think we're at this point now where this linear form of measurement in our mind and perception is fading away. We're kind of getting close to running out of terms to express what we're trying to express. Language, it's not that language is failing us. It's just that we're expanding. Our consciousness is expanding beyond human language, and it's doing it gradually. Obviously, it can't do it all in one go. It's got to do it gradually, and it's interesting that the consciousness is expanding to the point of going beyond human language as we understand it, the spoken word, and that's directly coupled to the psychic expansion. We're now sensing the energies, what's within us and around. When we go in an environment, we're sensing the energies. So consciousness and the psyche, in a way, is helping us move gradually beyond human terms and human verbal language of expression. We know the psyche is the consciousness. That's what it means. If you've got anybody who goes in the dictionary, look up psychic, it'll say mind. Look up mind, it'll say psyche. So then you go, okay, we've got a game on here. Because then we've got psyche, mind, and then we go, where does that leave? Where does the soul come into play? Where does consciousness come into play? And where does awareness come into play? So we've got these like 5 factors all interconnected and interrelated. And at the center point, well, we can say at the moment, the center point is consciousness. The question what I always have about the soul, which I deeply believe in anyway, is what is it and where is it? Because nobody's ever put their hand on it. Nobody said, here's the soul, and showed anybody else it. It's something which obviously we know it's energy of a certain nature. I perceive the soul to be possibly, potentially, the purest part of any being. Even if we class ourselves as a human being, putting the human factor to one side a minute, let's just say we are a being of energy, and the purest part of us is what we may refer to as the soul. And it's that soul consciousness what we're kind of the process of unraveling and revealing the light of it. As we peel the layers off, we know we sense freedom from the expansion of consciousness. But where does that sense of freedom come from? Because in that sense of freedom, we've got clarity, a touch more clarity. It's almost as if the soul shines that a little bit brighter. And in that shining of the light of the soul, our consciousness has got more space. And then as it's got more space, we start to sense and become aware of energy, further energies of this multidimensional reality. And we start understanding a bit further than what we did yesterday. I love the fact that you've said, okay, bye-bye, Jennifer. She's gone. Yeah, because it brings us, for me, Jennifer, it brings us very close to that center point of we just are in every moment. We're not chasing, not so much not chasing the past. Well, sometimes we chase the past because we want to sort it out and let go of it. It's like ridiculous. But in that moment, we're not holding on to the past and we're not chasing the future. So I absolutely love what you've just said there. The final aspect for me is the embodiment of the soul energy. And I agree with something you said earlier about we can only trust the soul as much as our mind trusts ourselves, basically. So we've got, clearly we can say there are many frequencies of consciousness, or many frequencies, I like it, many frequencies of awareness. And we move our consciousness, which is connected to our soul, in that realm of awareness. And as we move our consciousness from one point to another, our sense of perception, understanding, and truth changes, because we're tapping into the truth of the frequency at that new point, if that makes sense. Hi, Patrick, if that makes sense. I'm containing it.
Yeah, you. No, I got all that, but there were so many little dots. I was like holding on to all the little parts at once. You're making my mercurial mind so very happy. My mind is like, so exactly what you said. And so what happens is we have this awakening and we begin to become self-aware we begin to become self-conscious, self-aware of looking at ourselves, when we start to realize that we're a little bit more than our personality, really a lot more. But we've been living this very outward journey as personality, and a collection of personas, but we just seamlessly move from one to the next. And this is where people get stuck in patterns and cycles and things like that too, and they don't know why things are happening. But over time, we hopefully mature and grow, whether we awaken or not. But when we do awaken, we become self-aware. That's when all of a sudden this outward thing turns inward, and we start to see there's something going on behind the scenes. Oh, my soul. Oh, my spirit, right? And there's all of this happening too. But we have a hard time keeping the mirror turned this way, and we keep wanting to turn it this way, because we're so used to that. And so that's why even if we have an awakening or we feel enlightened for a few moments, right, we're gonna go back out and start doing, being all of the different facets of self, which is not wrong. It's not wrong, but I think what a lot of us are feeling, that ineffable that we're feeling, is the wanting to feel more connected. So soul is about connection. Your spirit is about building, doing, making,
creative.
learning, right? But soul is about connection. So again, that was the part I left out last time. Is if you think of back in the days, this is how I heard it described: when a knight would go out with his sword to go out to battle, he would kneel down before the lady on her horse, and she would bless him and give him the go ahead to go into battle, right? And so this is what we can start doing with the soul of us, this very wise part of us that is pushing all of these different energies and different frequencies through us, wanting to have experiences. And if we can turn inward and have this reverence, this bow, this posture, to the soul of us, which is a humbling experience for the personality, for the spirit of us, right? That's when we can start to embody. And this is where we have a second awakening, where we're like, okay, we've had so much fun going into all these magical places, also using that as an escape. Sorry, we all do it. We use it as escape from this reality because it feels too painful sometimes, or we just don't want to deal with things. But then we can bring that into this reality consciously embodied. So this would be kind of like feeling like you have, awakened to the matrix, but now you're in it, but you're in it. But the matrix isn't a bad thing, but this is something people can relate to because they've seen the movie, right? And so you're in it. And so how can we be more consciously unified with the soul so that we can really continue to see how everything's playing out, but then we can make the best choices and the best decisions for how to use this short lifetime that we have, this one little avatar, and make the most out of it, make the most connections, make the most positivity, do the most help for the world that we can, connect with the people that we love, all of this. And that happens with deeper awareness and kind of a submission to the soul, if that makes sense. And we're all working on it. We all keep, we keep phasing into different parts of self and different emotions, and we go, oh, yeah, okay, I'm back again. Okay. And that's okay. We're all playing these little roles, right? So how can we do this? How can we become more conscious of the soul so that we can be more embodied, and be really living a purposeful present life, to where our mind isn't in, so many places at once. And so spending really time getting in touch with your emotions, watching your thoughts, learning from them. Who was that? Who was the me who just thought that or felt that? Or where did that come from? Was that part of my personality? Was that coming from a deeper aspect of my soul? What do I have to learn from this? And just keep going in and making friends with every thought, every feeling. And what happens is when everything seems to feel seen and understood, and you understand that expressions are wanting to move through you, then you can use these expressions in a positive way versus them controlling you. So in other words, we have more actual control, which is kind of I know that word is an illusion in itself, but we have a little bit more free agency if we are in connection with how the soul works. And then we understand it, and then we're working together with it versus thinking we're just on our own out here trying to figure it all out. Does that make sense?
Which is where we get into trouble. Isn't it? This is where the trouble begins, because instead of, we have a choice. We've got this aspect where after the awakening, as a personal thing, after the awakening, my self-awareness kicked in at that point. And in that moment, I became aware that prior to the awakening, it was almost as if I was not conscious of being conscious.
Exactly.
And I think this is that transition at that moment of a spiritual awakening. We then can say, prior to the awakening, I was not conscious of being conscious. I was just, and this is when we piece it together and go, okay, so what was actually going on before the awakening? Well, then we can say the frequencies and the vibrations of instinct, ego, and control was leading the mind. And it was, and so there's a kind of frequency what's playing out. And this is where everybody's innocent. There's a frequency playing out, which this instinctive behavior of getting up in the morning and going along night, on the treadmill, round the wheel, they are not consciously aware of what's actually going on. And we're just going through the process, so to speak. And yet we're convinced that it's correct, that that's what we're doing. I'm right in what I'm doing. You can't tell me any other. I'm right. The awakening kicks in. Then we become aware of consciousness itself. We're literally becoming conscious, which then goes, okay, we can't say I was conscious after the awakening without, if I was not conscious when I was before the awakening. Well, we was, but it was of a different frequency. We can say it was more contained, even a slower frequency and denser. So then we go, okay, what happened to the consciousness at the point of awakening? And this is where, for me, all kind of begins to open up and expand and unravel, which connects, I believe, for what you were saying earlier, Jennifer, which is the soul needs food, just like the physical body needs food to sustain itself. The soul needs food, but its food is experience. It wants
I love that.
different experiences. So in this mental continuum of incarnations, infinite incarnations, entering through one incarnation to another incarnation, from one to another, the soul is riding that wave. And every time it incarnates, or whether it doesn't matter. Every single moment, it's having an experience. It's experiencing an experience. So
exactly.
And you're going, wonderful, because you're feeding me. Keep going. Do what you want. Feed me. And what it does for me is, as we go through each experience, whether it's previous lifetimes or in this one, we're gathering and collecting energies, particles and atoms of thoughts and emotions from all these different frequencies of that one particular experience. It's like a mass. So we know, all of us know this, that every experience, especially the stronger, more what we call the more powerful and more intense experiences which we've encountered up to this point, as not only has it been to our benefit, the question is, what's been going on? Why? Why has it been so beneficial? Why is it so powerful? Why is it moving me so profoundly? Well, it's because we've gathered all those particles and atoms, what relates to thought, feeling, and actions from that experience, and accumulated them inside us within our field of energy. And we're like mad scientists. We want to cause a reaction, because the soul wants to not so much grow and expand, but the soul wants feeding. So the more we feed the soul of all these experiences, and especially not just the milder ones, but the most intense ones, is when that accumulated mass creates a chemical reaction within us energetically, and boom.
I love that.
The psyche expands. It pushes. It's got no choice. It pushes our consciousness outwards by its sheer force of energy. So then we go, wow, this is telling us how to feed our soul and expand our consciousness. So if let's say we want to, we have to be careful how we do this, because some people go, right, okay, brilliant, I'm off to dive in there like some lunatic, and it's like blow their head off, and go, okay, that's too much. So something inside our soul, that pure part, which is the one with the deepest, most profound wisdom, gauges, it calculates, and this is where the logical mind of consciousness comes in, or the logical frequencies comes in regarding consciousness. The logic for me is the mathematician. It doesn't play about like the emotions do. The emotions will go, oh, 2 and 2 can equal 25. And the logical mind is set there like this cold calculating, like looking at you like you're a lunatic. But no, it doesn't. 2 and 2 equals 4. Don't run away with yourself. And so we need them both. We need the logic and the emotion, because the logic is the one what's calculating how much energy we want to get us to the next stage of our evolution. And so it goes, right, that's enough. You don't want too much because you'll blow. That's enough. Right, you've got enough. Let's get this kind of in the mix and get the reaction what we want. We need that critical mass to have that chemical reaction of energetically. And that's why we've all felt pain from emotions and all the circumstances and relationships, etc., whatever it is, whether it's with our parents, with children, our loved one, doesn't matter. We feed it with the soul is going, I need that, I need that, I need that. And what I realized, the soul is doing that every moment of every day. And that's why change is constant, because we're feeding ourselves experiences, no matter what it is. Like this is an experience that's feeding us, sit here now, and everybody in the space. So we're all benefiting by these particles and atoms, what we're collecting from this one experience for this 45 1 hour minute thing. And we're feeding ourselves. And the soul's going, brilliant, keep going. Keep going.
more.
Yeah, my consciousness, it would just expand and expand, expand constantly. Anyway.
Right.
I better shut
And
up now.
and so how can we use all of that to make our lives extra magical, right? So the soul is this ineffable, undescribable, sort of unknowable, infinite, capacity beyond our full understanding, right? But it starts projecting, and it's very dreamy, it's very poetic, it's very symbolic. We see how crazy our dreams are. That's letting us know kind of like what the soul is like. And that's where all of this emotion and this feeling. And so it's like the mind and the analytical captures things in a very sort of masculine way. But then what do you do with the ether, the feeling, that you can't quite describe that touch of it, but you can feel it and you can sense it. And it's more than just emotion, right? It's the power, right? It's the power, right? So how do we become more empowered, embodied? And that's by keeping the mirror turned this way too, or maybe even a double mirror, one mirror out, one mirror in, and start to see things clearly, so that we can break free of the distortions, right?
Yeah.
And do that. And the mind is very tricky. Mine still is too. And we can think we're so conscious, and then something happens, and then we realize, there's, I just slipped into that again, right?
Yeah.
And so, and there's, and then another problem is people can start to become aware of their consciousness, and then they start using it in a more manipulative way. And that's still not conscious. They think they're conscious, but then they're using the tools that they're learning in a manipulative way. They're still unconscious. They haven't quite gotten the conscious of being conscious, right? Because the more you go to the deep within and get into the soul and understand how things are working, then you're working together as a whole. So that's a key word, as a whole. And that's going to make you have this kind of second awakening where you want to make the world a better place. You want to leave it better than when you came into it. You want to do your part to help and make your own existence as good as it can be too, and try to be kind over nice. Nice is what we learn. Kind is who we are. Those the two different things. So if I see people not becoming a better human being with their consciousness, then I'm like, I don't know how conscious they are, right? Because they're still acting on archetypal principles and roles and going into things without realizing it. And and if they're somewhat conscious, then they're doing it, and they're doing it on purpose, and that gets to be concerning too. And I see a lot of that kind of playing out around me at times too. So we've got to keep going. It's a lot of work. It really is. I'm still working on it. I know it's hard, everybody. It really is. But what are some practical things we can do? I learn about archetypes, study symbology, mythology, learn about energy dynamics, learn about power dynamics and how it's all play. Because Shakespeare said life is a stage. So everything is just this exchange of power and energy, right? You and I, we have this nice consensual, you have the power, I have the power, you have the power, right? And our energy is just flowing so nicely, right? Too. And so that's cohesive. That's now we're in the infinity together, you and I, right now, because we're flowing. We're not,
so true.
Over to you.
Beautiful, Jennifer. No, absolutely beautiful. Just hi, Jill Santos, for joining us. And
hi, Jill. Hi, Jade. Hi, Kim Princess. Hi, Patrick.
Bless you. Thanks for joining us. So, while we're sitting there, while I was listening to you, Jennifer, there's so many clear aspects to it. And I suppose we can say in that clarity, there was a light moving, like there always is anyway, but there was a specific light moving. And I'm sitting here listening, and all of a sudden, I sense somebody. Okay, and my feet started lifting off the ground, and I started kind of energetically elevating. And I think what they're trying to say, and then it moved up from my feet through my body, and then the mind then instantly starts ascending further. And in connection, I think, to the whole conversation about consciousness, my understanding is what these beings of light are encouraging us, in conjunction with the light of all our souls, is the ascension is key. And that will reflect all the answers anybody wishes to see and embrace. And it's not so much as in this case, when we ascend, because it is difficult, as you've just described, and like I think it was Jade put something, trying to do that and proving very hard. And I think that's been spotted. Your comment was spotted, Jade, to be honest, from spirit. And if we ascend our consciousness, and it's not about this loose top of the head, just get above it. It's nothing to do with that. That frequency doesn't apply in this case. But if we go into that space, whether it's through stillness, meditation, contemplation, whatever it is, then spirit and those guides, I want to say beings of light, can come forward, and they can elevate our awareness. At the same time, we're in harmony with them as we elevate too. So there's this union, if you like, in order to ascend our consciousness. And by ascending our consciousness, the light, what kind of drips off that ascension, will start dissolving the old, which is kind of, I don't want to say below it, but the old stuff, what people carry within the hearts and the minds. And that's where some transformation can take place. And that's where it's less difficult. I think we're at a point where, and I think humanity as a whole needs to be a little bit cautious, especially in the spiritual space. Because, and this is about guilt. A lot of people feel guilty that they're not doing enough, that they're not clearing enough, they're not handling it, or they're not managing it as best they can. And from that, they can feel a bit, go onto a guilt trip, and that then turn against themselves even more, which is going against what they're originally trying to do. So when we ascend our consciousness, we remove ourselves beyond that type of that mindset and all the others, which then takes us to this one, I believe, particular point what spirit are trying to make. or those beings of light are trying to make. The soul consciousness is intricately linked to conscience. It's almost as if they are intricately bonded together. Obviously, there's going to be a fine line somewhere, but in the center point of the soul is where our purest conscience ripens and reveals itself. And in that, if we can get as close as we can to our conscience, then the light, the pure light, can shine.
Yes, yes.
That's when we don't start playing around in these manipulative games, because it can no longer exist in that space. It's not there, it's not present, because we're in that pure part of our, and we're walking with our conscience, that difference between right and wrong, which we all know. And some minds are closer to it. There's all these variations. Everybody's at their own distance to the conscience. Some people will just never do, like a monk, he'll never do anything wrong. Nothing. It's that pure. And any variation from that point outwards. So conscience, ascension, conscience, and the soul consciousness is where it's all taking place. And it's almost like saying to ourselves, well, everything just is. I'm just going to push everything away, dissolve it as a transformer. Well, I said, I'm going against what I was going to say earlier. In effect, what we should be doing is drawing everything towards us, because that's what we're picked. It's like, I need that, I need that, I need that, and we draw it towards us. But when we draw it towards us, it's like, no, I don't want this, I didn't pick this, and it's like, yeah, well, you did. You did.
Exactly.
Just draw it in. It's okay, your light will transform it. And then we've got the freedom of clarity of the light of the soul playing out. Ascension is key. Yeah. Over to you.
You said a very poignant word, and that's the word union. And there is a union of self and self, and you don't have to give up your personality. Like I have quite a personality. Everybody knows this, and and it's like I have fun being Jennifer, right? And I have fun with putting makeup on and all this stuff. You don't have to give up your personality to be spiritual, to be connected to your soul. In fact, you're expressing the essence of your soul in how it wants to be expressed, but you're doing it in a more conscious way. We behave often throughout life to achieve something, or to gain something, or to fill what we think is unfillable, or to avoid consequences. So when we have a conscience, then we're behaving not to avoid consequences, but because this is what feels right. This is what feels good to do. This is what feels like it's going to add instead of subtract, not cause more violence, not aggravate more triggers, but actually go in and heal, repair, restore, rebuild. And I think sometimes the balance is maybe off. And so by union of self to soul, then we start to fix the balance. I don't even want to say fix, but harmonize, and move into that, what we're all desiring, which is to still be unique, to still have experiences, to express all of our creative essence. But I think we can see that we're at a point where collectively, and we are God collectively. Yeah. So let's take that in a humble way. But there's a lot of information out there that is getting outdated, that isn't that helpful to us anymore. It may be doing more harm than good at some point. And what else don't we know? What else don't we know that's there for us that can help us to shift what we're all wanting to shift? The shift, we keep talking about the shift. So if we're talking about the shift, that means there is a collective desire to do something very differently than how we've been doing it. Because we're looking around at all of this violence and we're like, we know divine orchestration. We know things happen for a reason. But there's cause and effect, right? There's all of this happens, right? And we're trying to make sense of it all, and it's really hard. But we're like, something doesn't feel right. Something still doesn't quite feel right. And that doesn't necessarily mean we're in judgment or resistance. It means we're observing what is and saying, maybe the soul is saying we're ready for a change. We're ready to do it differently. We're ready for round 2. What does that look like? What don't we know? What of the old teachings can we preserve because they stand the test of time? And then what are the ones that are saying that are not helping us to have union with the self and the soul, that we can kind of say, thank you, we're done with that. And then what new information can come to us that we can use to get this shift going?
Yeah.
And hopefully see it in our lifetime. We want to see it in our lifetime. And
Yeah.
we might be able to, we don't know, like a couple years from now seems so far away because of AI and all of this, right? It seems like almost unseeable and unknowable, but I hope so.
We'll know I think we'll definitely know by 2030 which direction it's going to go into. I don't question that. For a long time watching and studying this, it was clear that in the 2020s, the change was going to happen and all will be revealed. And now we see this constant, steady transformation taking place. We know the awakening is taking place at a more accelerated pace, and it continues to do that as each day passes by. That's a fact. We can't avoid that. And that's making the revelations of the light shining and dissolving and transforming the darkest corners of the world and anybody what's connected to them. So there's this multitude of aspects taking place, and it's quickening up. I think my understanding is in the next, well, we know I'm coming into 26, so we've got 4 years. Within the next 4 years, we're going to make, I can probably safely say, exceptionally significant changes on the planet, like major changes, without naming any particular one at this moment. And it's all down to this cosmic light, what's moving. I just want to quickly, just because I know we're going to get finished, Jennifer. So
yeah,
I know you've got to get off. Fran. Hi, Fran.
Fran.
Thanks for stumbling along. I've likened it. That's what we're doing. We're like crawling in the darkness on our hands and knees, and we have an awakening. It's like buff, one our feet, and we can see the light. So, but it's Kath's comment which I've noticed. If we can have a look at that. And maybe you can just give a quick comment on that, Jennifer, and then we can close and wrap up.
Okay.
There we go. We are here to have human experiences. For me, meaning of ascension is ultimately personal. Each person's journey is unique, with understanding that deepens through experience.
Yeah. Absolutely true. Each person's journey is unique, and so we're trying not to judge it. But we can sometimes get ourselves in this little conundrum that if we look at everything consistency through the lens of non-judgment, then does it ever change or does it get better? Does the suffering that runs through humanity, which I'm seeing almost as like there's this artery and you have all these veins and things like that, and it's like this band of suffering is pretty thick. And we know we grow from our experiences, even the hard ones. Is there another way? I'm not talking about the middle path. I'm talking about a whole new one that we just is a little unknowable at this point. Another way to where that suffering isn't, so when I look at, for instance, the what's happened over in the Middle East, for example, and you see what's happening, like, women, they had power, they lost power, they had power, they've lost it again. And some of what we see happening in different parts of the world seems very barbaric, right? It seems unconscionably violent. And now there are some places that are, much more better, where you're seeing certain civilizations or areas where people are functioning at very high capacity and very, very connected. And so I understand you see the harmony of it all in a way, but in a way not. Can I observe it and say there's energies that are playing out there, but if there was more consciousness, those energies would play out differently. They would be used more consciously, and then you wouldn't have so much suffering. You wouldn't have so much violence being done, right? Because there's a lack, there's a need for more consciousness. So the good part is like, and so I'm using that as an example, but children, like I'm doing my children's charities, right? Like I have an issue with accepting that all of the bad things that happen to children is okay, right? I'm observing that. Am I judging it? Maybe. But can I say maybe if the energies were being used more consciously, then things would change into what is unknowable, but tangible. We're touching it. We're like, we see it, like we know it's there. We can kind of feel it. It's intangible and sort of unknowable, but yet we're almost, we're almost there, right? And how can we do that? So how can we honor and embrace everyone's journey, and that God knows what God's doing, or the source, the creator knows more than Jennifer does. But then I am an aspect of the divine too. And I just, we're feeling it. There's something that we're all feeling in the ethers that says, what don't we know? Can't we do better? Is this the only way?
Yeah.
So can we open up a space to where, okay, we accept this, but what's in there? What's in that door? What's in door number 3?
We're about to find out.
I think we're wanting door number 3.
Yeah.
Right?
Get that padlock off.
Exactly. And so I hope it makes sense that, and if it doesn't, that's okay. But I think we want door number 3. We're kind of like, we're done with this 1 and 2Zs. We want door number 3, where we have this and also that, and it's better.
Do you know it's funny, Jennifer, just quickly, because my understanding, part of my understanding is, and I totally 100% agree with what you've just said, totally. One of the things, and I shouldn't laugh, but one of the things what I do find funny is as this global awakening takes place, the spiritual psychic expansion of humanity, okay, as it takes place, we know it's connected to light, and light is revealing things. So
yes.
What we're looking at is one of the first things, when light breaks through, it shines on the darkness. So 333, it shines on the darkness. So basically, that's the identification of it. So the light identifies darkness is there, if we call it darkness. Correct. Yeah. And then it does something else. And then it starts transforming it and lifting to see what's underneath it. It's got to transform it and start to see and unravel. That's the unraveling, if you like. It's like a great revealing taking place on the planet. Well, we know we do that to ourselves. We're doing it constantly. We're unraveling because what we call those, let's say the shadow work is the perfect example. The light is shining in the shadows and we're clearing whatever's in there, okay? Or we're transforming it. So collectively, on the planet, the same thing is taking place with all the aspects what you've just beautifully described. And for me, it's a process. There's a process playing out here with light and dark. And we're playing our role. And then it's like, well, we've got no determination. Well, I've got to be cautious. In a way, we've got no control over when it will get sorted. What we do know is by doing what we're doing, we're connecting to that when it's going to get sorted, because it's already getting sorted in the moment, which brings us back to the moment. And the final bit here, which, because I know we're really going to be tight on time here. Final bit for me on this is this question of conscience is the big player. 2 aspects. At the point of death, it's our conscience which determines where we go. And The lightness of our conscience can get us to fly. The density of our consciousness can get us to sink. And for me, I think that's going to be one of the most important questions faced by humanity in the next 4 years. It will come back to a question of conscience, because a question of conscience is a question of consciousness and embodying the soul. If the more an individual can embody the soul consciousness, the lighter that obviously the soul or that person is going to be. And from that, that's the game changer. Last
Exactly.
that
Game changer.
Yeah. That other bit of where are we at the moment regarding that third way, if you like, or that third door. What fascinates me, and this is where I do find it funny, is humanity's only just been awakening in the last 40, 50 years. We know in the last 10 years and the last 5 years that there's been an acceleration in awakenings. In these awakenings lies the remnants of the ego on that journey for everybody. And so we cannot get to this point now, and this is the one, and this goes back what I think when you were talking about being humble. The light of the soul is exceptionally humble. Exceptionally, it's profoundly humble.
Yeah.
And we have to use wisdom with humbleness. Some people will tread on it and some people will respect it. However, so there's the remnants, the almost like the apron strings, still tied to in the individual consciousness. And it's getting the individual convinced that it knows everything.
Exactly.
In the spiritual. And it's like, guys, we've only just started awakening. There's got to be what Jennifer's just said. So much more what we haven't found. What else do we know? What is yet waiting for us? And the only way we can get there is by expanding consciousness and embodying it. Anyway, another shot.
Yeah, and turning and keeping the mirror turned in too, not just up. Let's keep a two-way mirror, one going out, one going in. And what I do feel very confident in saying for all of us here is the more we work towards embodying our soul, humbling our personality to the soul, reconnecting, integrating, bringing and learning to how the energies are playing out within us, that makes a big difference in the collective, because it's all connected. We're connected to everybody. We think we're these encapsulated separate things, but the lines of connection are everywhere because we're all divine. And so it makes a difference, and it will affect the people around us too. In the midst of darkness, light persists. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you made me think of when you talked about the light coming in and making everything visible and then transforming it too. And there's two lights. There is the sun and there's the fire, right? One is of the earth and one is in the air, right? And so again, it's the two. Let the two lights come together. Magic.
And on that note,
it's 1:11. We should close. I gotta go.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining us. It looks like we're going to be doing part 2.
Yay.
Jennifer, lots of love. Thank you so much. As far as anybody, what can you do to help the process get close to your soul? Stillness, ascend and stillness. And talking about stillness, we have a silent retreat coming up on the 29th, 30th and 31st between Christmas and New Year. We've decided, we've been inspired. We're going to put a silent retreat on from the evening of the introduction in the evening, first session, and then 3 sessions, and then we'll finish the following day around lunchtime. Heidi, everybody else, thank you so much. Jennifer, as always, absolutely. What a beautiful conversation.
I love you, Colin. So thank you for Thank you for inviting me back. And you know, like I said, you're like our patriarch of our community. And so I'm really happy you're around. Really, really happy.
I love it. Yeah, everybody's doing amazing. Everybody on the planet. Everybody's doing amazing. So
Well, we're fortunate to have you. So thank you for being you.
Yeah, well, I'm not coming back no more. This is my only one. And next time I'm going elsewhere. No,
It's your only one is Colin, as I like to say. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the bad thing, isn't it? Yeah. What on earth did we do? Thank you. Thank you, Oliver, working behind the scenes, making sure everything runs smoothly. Thanks, Car, Jill, all of you. There's that many names I can't name. Lots of love to everybody. Jennifer, thank you so much.
Thank you. Love you. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.